She burned Roman London to the ground. She destroyed a legion. She came within one battle of driving the most powerful empire on earth out of Britain forever. And here is the strange part. Almost everything you think you know about her was written by her enemies, 100 years after she died. Her name was Boudica. And this is the true story, and the legend of the warrior queen of the Britons. In the year 43, the legions of Rome came to Britain, and they came to stay. One by one the tribes were conquered or bought. Among them in the east of the island were the Iceni, ruled by a king named Prasutagus, not quite a slave to Rome, not quite free. A client king allowed his throne so long as he served Rome's purpose. When he died, he tried to protect his family with a will, leaving his kingdom jointly to his two daughters and to the Roman emperor. It was a fatal miscalculation. Rome did not honor the will. It seized everything. According to the Roman historian Tacitus, the soldiers went further. Boudica, the king's widow, was stripped and flogged in public. Her two young daughters were raped. The Iceni nobles were driven from their lands like criminals. We have to be honest, this comes from a single Roman source. But whatever the exact truth, Rome had just done something it would bitterly regret. It had humiliated a queen and handed her a reason to burn the world down, and the timing could not have been better for revolt. The Roman governor, Suetonius Paulinus, and the bulk of his army were at the far other end of the island, in Wales, storming the sacred island of the druids on Anglesey. The richest, most Roman corner of Britain lay almost undefended behind him. Boudica raised the Iceni. Their neighbors, the Trinovantes, rose with them, and a furious army began to march. Their first target was a symbol. Camulodunum, modern Colchester, a city of retired Roman soldiers, crowned by a great temple to the deified Emperor Claudius, paid for by British taxes. To the Britons, it was the throne of their oppression, and they came for all of it. Camulodunum had no walls. The Britons overran it and burned it street by street. The last colonists barricaded themselves inside the temple of Claudius and held for 2 desperate days before it fell. A part of the 9th Legion, marching to the rescue, was ambushed on the road, its infantry slaughtered to a man, only the cavalry escaping. A Roman legion had just been shattered by the people they called savages. Paulinus raced back across the country with what cavalry he had and reached Londinium first, a young, thriving, unwalled trading town on the Thames. He looked at it, and he made the coldest decision a commander can make. He could not defend it, so he abandoned it, taking those who could march and leaving the rest to their fate. Boudica's host fell on London and burned it to ash. To this day, deep beneath the city, archaeologists find her mark, a thick red layer of burnt earth, the scar of the day London died. Then a third city, Verulamium, St. Albans, went the same way. 3 Roman cities wiped from the earth. Tacitus says 70,000 Romans and their allies were killed. Be careful with that number. It comes from a Roman writer with reason to make the disaster sound apocalyptic, and oddly, archaeologists find the burning but very few bodies. But exaggerated or not, one truth is undeniable. Rome was, for one terrifying moment, losing Britain. What did she look like? This woman who terrified an empire? The truth is, we do not know. No portrait of her survives. Everything we picture comes from the Roman Cassius Dio, writing 150 years later. A tall woman, terrifying to look at, with a great mass of tawny hair to her hips, a harsh voice, a golden talk, and a spear in her hand. He even tells us she loosed a hair for an omen and prayed to the British goddess of victory, Andraste. It is a magnificent image. It is also literature, not memory. The real woman is lost behind the legend her enemies built. But Paulinus had regrouped. Outnumbered perhaps 10 to 1, he did the one thing that could save Rome. He chose his ground. A narrow place, a defile, with thick woods at his back so he could only be attacked from the front. The Britons charged and crashed into a wall of discipline. A volley of javelins, then the legions in a wedge, grinding forward. And behind the Britons, their own families in wagons, drawn up to watch the victory, now blocked their escape. Triumph turned into a trap, and the trap into a massacre. It was over. The great revolt died on that field.
And Boudica?
Here, even her enemies disagree. Tacitus says she took poison rather than be paraded through Rome in chains. Cassius Dio says she fell sick and died. No one knows which is true. No one knows where she lies. The queen who burned 3 cities simply vanished from history, and that is the honest heart of this story. Everything we have comes from 2 Romans. Tacitus, sober and closer in time, whose own father-in-law served in Britain. And Dio, vivid and lurid, writing generations later. Neither was there. So the burning is real. The earth itself remembers it. But the speeches, the numbers, the very face of the queen are a Roman portrait of the woman who nearly beat them. We see Boudica only through the eyes of Rome. Rome held Britain for another 350 years. Boudica lost. And yet, 18 centuries later, the British built her in bronze, a warrior queen in her chariot, raised in triumph beside their parliament, in the very city she once burned. There is a final, perfect irony in her name. Boudica comes from an ancient British word that means, simply, victory. The queen who lost her last battle became the immortal symbol of a nation that refused to kneel. If this is the kind of history you want, the truth, with the legend laid bare beside it, then subscribe and walk with us through the story of Britain. This is your history too.